Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the Standards Weekly Check-In. I'm Colin. Behind the camera we got Dylan.
What's up?
Today we're going to be going over some staff picks, recently priced records, and maybe give you a wall walk if we have some time. I don't know. As always, if you see anything you like, you can hit the DMs on Instagram, you can give the shop a ring, or you can come in. We're open from 11 to 8, 7 days a week. We do not acknowledge New Year's Eve or day. Same hours. So yeah, let's get into some staff picks, shall we?
What do we got?
Saxon. We had so many Saxon records. I feel like a few have sold.
Yeah.
Denim and leather.
And then the steel wheel.
Wheels of steel.
Wheels of steel. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I had a day. I was listening to Saxon like all day because I don't know if I really connected with Saxon. I'm like, we got enough Saxon records in. I'm gonna listen to every single Saxon record we got in. So all day long I was listening to Saxon. I don't know what kind of vibe that puts out.
Yeah. No, I like Strong Arm. I really like Denim and Leather. From what I remembered, I really like it, but I don't know if it stands.
Yeah, I think it's the weird thing is every record has a couple really good songs.
Yeah. But
not all the records themselves are very good. But every record is worth listening to. Even with the really early ones, is like just kind of like, yeah, strong. This is probably the strongest of this batch.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's tracks on all of them. I think it was. Oh wait, there's a really good song. Where is it? Which is it on?
Tell me.
This Town Rocks. If I could suggest one song from the Saxon catalog, it'd be This Song Knows How to Rock. Anyways.
How does it go?
Oh, you want to know?
No, it's okay. I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Let me just say, this town knows how to rock. But yeah, it's been got a copy of Blonde on Blonde, and anytime that comes, I have to listen to it a lot. I realize I have a favorite Bob Dylan song now. I'm confident in that.
Song?
Yeah, Memphis Blues again. I always think with Bob Dylan stuff, it's like I used to kind of think of it as like it's a big thick novel. Like, oh, that's for the big brains over there. That's for big brain people. I can't figure that out. And I recently made genuine connections with at least the '60s catalog, and certain albums have really genuinely clicked. Not just like, oh, this is an important record. This is historically this matters, but really wow, I'm affected by this. And I guess it's kind of a cliche, but Blonde on Blonde is always the one where when I'm listening to it, parts stick out. But yeah, Memphis Blues again is I think that's my favorite Bob Dylan song. I'm pretty confident in that. But and I have a long-standing adversarial relationship with the double LP as a format. And I'm like, I think Blonde on Blonde is a pretty strong argument. I don't know if there's a whole lot of filler on there or songs that don't. I would have a hard time paring this down to a single disc, ultimately. So yeah, that's for me. Speaking of double LPs.
Yeah. What was it? Christmas Eve?
Something like that.
Yeah. We were listening to this for almost 7 hours straight, just back to back.
Yeah, it's one of these endless records. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is like a collection of non-LP tracks and
it's all singles, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just about as good of music as ever existed.
Yeah.
Of course. Speaking of music, this is about as good as ever existed. No, I love Accept. Y'all know that. One of my favorite heavy bands, and this is a great record. Let's try to do this editing wise, right? I found a Robert Mapplethorpe, right? We'll see. But anyways, yeah, that's all I got. Accept is always a good time. I enjoy the music of Accept, and Balls to the Wall is a good Accept album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the best?
No.
What's the best?
The one with Fast as a Shark on it. Yeah, Restless and Wild is, that's their best. But they don't really have bad records with Udo on them.
Yeah.
Even the really early stuff where it's kind of has a foot in that sweet AC/DC glam rock territory, 70s glam territory. Amazing tracks on those records. But yeah, Accept is, I don't know. I don't abide by people thinking Accept are okay or Accept, there's some 80s band, I don't listen to them. No, listen to Accept. They're the best. Second best.
Yeah.
Judas Priest is the best.
Yeah.
Wherever I would say Accept were my favorite heavy metal band, and Judas Priest were my second favorite. But over time, they shifted. They're still my second favorite heavy metal band.
I get it. They're still top 3.
Yeah.
Let alone top 2. So yeah. All right. What's the next one? It's Nasty Savage, the Rage of Mayhem. I'm pretty sure this is a demo tape put on vinyl, I guess, for the first time. All the demos. There's some live tracks on here.
Like wrestler metal.
Yeah, pretty much. If you like theatrics, get into Nasty Savage because they do get involved with wrestling at some point in their career. Nancy Benoit, pre-Benoit era, like they team up with the guy that she was managing at the time, and they're just like Satan worshippers.
Oh, that's the band. That's a wrestling team's gimmick.
Yeah, and like Nasty Savage was just like hanging out with them all the time.
Nasty Savage is from Florida. I think that's really important to mention.
Yeah, they're a Florida metal band. If you want to know where Florida death metal starts, you go ahead and listen to Nasty Savage, Obituary, and who else?
Morbid Angel.
I'm sure Morbid Angel,
Death.
Yeah,
the Death demos under the name of Mantis.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm sure they'll all tell you Nasty Savage was the best at their time.
Flip through. Let's get to the flip through. These are some recently priced records. They think that 1996 is such a fucking weird time in terms of just like the changing of like guards and opinions. Like I always bring this up, but like I remember my freshman year, like 'cause I'd seen Metallica a couple of times at that point. 'Cause the Black Album tour was just endless, you know.
Yeah.
So like I had seen them a couple times. So I think
3
like
years or something, right?
something like that. So like I saw him with GNR, and then I saw him with like Suicidal and like Rob Halford's Fight. So like yeah, and Candlebox,
God damn.
which I conveniently leave out. And I was like over Metallica at that point in my life. I was like, it's old hat. But yeah, they'd come out with like Load, everything people say about that album in terms of like they pissed off their fans. Like no, they really did. Like no one was. And I remember like the metalheads who were like still clinging to just like arguably good for their style bands like Pantera and Sepultura were still like maybe not at their prime, but weren't like laughing stocks by any means in like 96, you know. So like yeah, there was still hope of like Pantera putting out a good album. There was still hope for that. That was like real metal. And then it was like yeah, but this audience that was like clinging to what Metallica would do was like no.
This sucks.
YouTube comments, let's go. We got Coaster 2301 Production says, nice video, picked up Mac DeMarco's 2 and Salad Days from you guys recently. In your guys' opinion, what genres of rock do you see making a comeback in the 2020s? And he says he sees psychedelic rock making a comeback and points out some neo-psychedelic groups. And I don't know, I kind of see, I first of all, I should recuse myself from any of these, like what's going to be big next predictions. Because I was certain that when like all the like heavier like Sabbath ripoff bands, not Sabbath ripoffs, you know, Heavy Psych, when Heavy Psych, capital H, capital P, was like really booming in, let's call it like let's call it 10 years ago, just to have a round number. I thought for sure that was going to segue into like a country rock kind of direction, because I started to see a lot of the people who were buying like really weird like Flower Traveling Band reissues. They were starting to get excited about like, I didn't really see a resurgence of country rock music. I don't know, I think we're kind of, you know, my friend Dylan playing me a lot of like Coachella rock from the early 2000s. We're kind of due for that to come back, but I don't know how you do that in the current year, you know? There shouldn't ideally be a single indie rock sound, you know? But I don't know, I think a lot of that music from that period is kind of irresistible in terms of like, you know, if you hear even like a White Stripes song or something from the early 2000s, it's like, I know that song because they were all writing really catchy music. We're due for some sort of like reconfiguration of that sound, or like, you know, smooth jazz. I see a lot of younger folks picking up kind of like funky fusion-y kind of like the smoother side of that sound of like jazz music. But are they gonna really be able to translate that and create something of their own with it? So those would be like trends that I see. that would make sense to me. But either way, if we're looking for an answer, early 2000s Coachella rock. I think that's the big one. Just kids picking on turn on the bright lights and start new bands based around that. But I'm probably very wrong because I'm wrong about everything. But you got any takes? You got anything?
I say Britpop. That's it. That's all I got. No information. I'm just gonna say the British invasion is gonna happen again.
You just think a bunch of yeah, maybe. I'll believe that. I could see Americans just fucking slacking so hard that like a bunch of British people pick up guitars and start writing really great songs and just take over the world. And maybe that'll get our asses in gear. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I feel like it's going to be either Britpop. I can also see this weird, like, pop-punk resurgence. Like Machine Gun Kelly new album, pop-punk. I haven't listened to it. I just know that's the sound.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of, like... Isn't that more like early aughts, like mainstreamo, more than like pure pop-punk?
Maybe, yeah. If the way everyone keeps, like, reminiscing over their Warped Tour days... They can go ahead and just keep doing that.
They say, "How can you miss us if we're never leave?" And the Warped Tour has left.
Yeah.
And if Rap Devil MGK is picking up a guitar and starting to play music like that, yeah, who's to say? Is it either way? I think we're on the same page, or just like the early 2000s.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Just look at whatever people with guitars were doing in the early 2000s, and like the 2020s are going to have a lot of that.
It's a good one.
Thanks for stopping by, guys. If you want to have any questions for us, leave a comment in the YouTube section. We'll talk about it next week, like we talked about this. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, guys. Bye.
This sucked.